Welcome to Joydella Fashion Guide. I am G Joy. If you are here to subscribe to this channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button before you continue watching. In our previous videos, we learned how to draft a regular sleeve and how to also make, in another video we also learned how to make the off shoulder basic sleeve pattern. So if you do not know how to make this sleeve pattern, you can watch my videos in that. And today we are going to be learning how to draft the long sleeve pattern. So I'll just show you some things that are important for you to note, and then we'll go to the drafting table to see how it is done. To know the amount of paper to put on fold or your fabric to put on fold, you take the measurement of the armhole round. For this we have 13, and then we divide it by 2. Divide it by 2, you're going to have 6.5. So you add some extra allowances like 2 inches to be on the safe side, so your paper can be 8.5 inches on fold. Now for a long sleeve, you will need to know also the bust of your client, because that will help you to know the armhole length. Okay, so to determine the armhole length, it is bust divided by 4. I also have a video on formulas and calculations. You can watch that later. So we need the armhole length, then we need the cap height. You can simply measure your customer like this from the shoulder. Just measure them on this place from here, not the shoulder as the center shoulder, but just from this edge here like this. So here I have 3/4. And also we also have a formula for calculating the cap height. You can also watch my formula video and you will find it there. And then you need the bicep circumference, you need the elbow circumference, and then you need the wrist circumference, and of course you need the full length of the sleeve. If it is a 3/4 sleeve you are making, then you need the full length to stop after the elbow, to stop around here. So here becomes, you now take the circumference of the bicep, and then you can take the circumference of the elbow if it's a fitted sleeve, and then you now take the circumference of where the 3/4 sleeve is going to end. But for this video we are going to make a long sleeve. So for a long sleeve, you can determine, there are some that want their sleeve to get to the wrist, some want it to get a little bit away from the wrist. So you can make a customer raise with your hand like this, and then just place your tape at the shoulder and then pass it around the arm to get to where you want the length to stop. And to be on the safe side, you can actually add 1 inch extra to your measurement, so that after sewing you do not have any shortage. So after you have marked your clients, you have taken the client's measurement, just add 1 inch to that. That 1 inch is different from the folding allowance. Please take note of that. And then you need to take the bicep measurement. Take the bicep measurement. For how we're going to be using 10. Then a sleeve that is very tight. And then we take the elbow circumference measurement. Take the elbow circumference. We use 9. And then you take the wrist measurement. You take the around the wrist here. So when you are taking the around the wrist measurement, you have to make sure that you put your tape such that the hand can glide through. This is what I mean by the hand gliding through. You're taking the measurement like this on the wrist. You will not make it so tight that the hand cannot come out. See this one, the hand cannot come out. So you have to put your tape such that the hand can come out of it. Then you know that you have taken the correct measurement. So for this, you see that when you are taking your wrist measurement, don't make it too tight that the hand cannot come out. Okay, so make it such that the hand can come out of the tape, so that you are sure that the hand can go into the sleeve and also come out. That is how to take the wrist measurement. So for her, you put it like this and try to make it come out, to see if a hand can come out of it. You adjust if it can't come out. You see that, so it's at 8 and a half. So that is basically what you need for a long sleeve. So we'll be going to the drafting table now to see how to draft it. Welcome back. For this drafting, I'm going to be using this brown paper. We'll be using our ruler, of course the French cut, the tape, the marker, and we also need our measurements. Before we start, we just run you through the measurements that we are working with. We are working with a sleeve length. We are working with a sleeve length of 19. The bicep is 10. Okay, we'll be dividing that by 2, then we'll have 5. The elbow measurement, the around the elbow, is 9. We'll be dividing that by 2 and we'll have 4.5. The wrist, we'll be making use of 8.5. When we divide that, we'll be having 4 1/4. And then the cap height, we are working with is 3.75. Then the around the armhole is 13. We'll be dividing that by 2 and we have 6.5 to know how much we need on fold. You need that plus at least 2 inches allowance, and then you need the armhole length. The armhole length, we are making your armhole length of 8.5, and that is gotten by bust divided by 4. Our bust is 34. So these are basically the measurements that we are working with. So first of all, you check if you have enough paper to use. So let's see the length of this paper. So I have here 19 3/4, so it is enough. And then check 6. The around the armhole is 13, divided by 2 is 6.5. So 6.5 plus 2 inches. So we also have enough. So what I'll do is that I'll just rule a starting line, because this paper here is rough. I'll just rule a starting line like a guide. If your edge of the paper is, your paper is supposed to be on fold. Paper is on. You are supposed to make the sleeve on fold, but I'm just going to make use of this paper. So we'll just assume that the paper is on fold. Okay, let me just fold this edge so that I can work with a smooth edge. Okay. So let's check if we have up to 8.5. So it's enough. So we'll assume that this is on fold. Make sure your paper or your fabric is on fold. And then we'll mark the full length. The full length is 19. We are working with a full length of 19. So after marking the full length, make sure you have at least 2 inches that you are going to use for your folding allowance. But for these tutorials, I'm going to be using 3/4 as my folding allowance. So I'll just fold it in. You know why I folded that in, like I always say, so that the end of the sleeve, you don't have any shortage. So let's see what we have. We have 19. So the next thing we are going to do is to mark the cap height. The cap height is 3.75. I'm working with the cap height of 3.75. Then you rule a straight line. So this is the cap height from here to here. So on this line, you are going to mark around the armhole. Around the armhole that we got 6.5. We mark 6.5 there. 6.5. And then from this corner here, we draw a straight line to end at the 6.5. And then we get the midpoint of this. Excuse me. Welcome back. We get the midpoint of that. So you can simply fold your tape. Mark the midpoint. And then we also divide this side again by 2 and also divide here again by 2. Or let's say half of that again. So this is the midpoint here. So this part, you fold it again, you get the midpoint here. So you use it to mark the midpoint here. So that means we have succeeded in sharing this line into 4. That correct. So move this, make use of this. So we have shared this line into 4. So when we are coming from here, this is the first midpoint, so it's going to cross this midpoint and then come out again from here. So on this part, you can just mark it to where the paper gets to, or let's say 1 inch. From here, you can mark 1 inch like this. Okay, and then on this part, we come down by ½ inch. The reason we are doing that is that for the long sleeve, it's not as deep as this. And then as long as that, say this part, you should go up by ½ inch to mark, to shape the front sleeve, to shape the back sleeve different from the front sleeve. Okay, but I'll just show you the basic sleeve, then any other modification you want to do can come up later. So this one you are doing now is for the front sleeve. So you use your French curve. This midpoint here will correspond to here, so you make sure that the French curve comes through here and ends at this midpoint here, this first half. It will go through the quarter and end in the half, like something like this. You can use your French curve to just continue to make sure that it blends. Okay, that there are no sharp edges. And then remember it was like this, so you now put it opposite way to make sure it goes through this and ends here, so it will not come down too much in the long sleeve. So just place your French curve such that this will continue. You see that? So this is the front part. Then for those that don't have the French curve, you can actually use your free hand with a pencil. You just make sure it goes through this part and then it starts coming down to go through here, and then you continue. Make sure it goes through here and ends here. And ends here. So that's how to use your free hand. So this is for the front armhole. Then some say for the back armhole that this curve should end here. I'll just use a barrel for that. Come here and here. And continue to this point from here to here, and then like so. So this is for the back, and this main one is for the front. So after you have taken that, the next thing is to impute the bicep, the elbow, and the wrist. Sorry, I'm bringing you back to the mannequin. Another measurement I forgot to mention to you is that you need the shoulder to the elbow point to know where to mark as the elbow point, and then the bicep area. So where to place the bicep measurement. You can put the bicep measurement around here, the fullest part of the hand. Okay, around here, let's say shoulder to here, like 7, and then the elbow, here we have 13.5. So shoulder to elbow point, take note of it where to be. Then if it is a 3/4 sleeve, like I said before, you mark where to end. So you need the shoulder to the bicep so that you can impute this measurement here, and then shoulder to elbow so that you can also impute this measurement here. Especially if you are making a fitted dress, there are some sleeves, some dress you are making that you may not really need the elbow measurement. You just need the biceps and the wrist measurements. So let's return back to active. So you can put in your elbow measurement here, your bicep measurement here, or you simply come and take the wrist measurement. There are some clothes you'll be making that you do not really need to put your biceps. You just use this from here, you just take it down to the wrist. Okay, so before we do that, let's see where our armhole length will get to before we now take it down. Remember, our armhole length is 8.5. So from the beginning, you put your tape. You see, 8.5 is exactly there. So that is the essence of knowing your measurements. See, we don't even need to adjust anything. Look at it. See, you just have the 8.5 there. Remember how we got here? We use the around the armhole divided by 2 to get here. So once you use this, you don't even need to impute the bicep again. The next thing, because this is already around the bicep area, so the next thing you do is just to take note of shoulder to the elbow point. Okay, take note of shoulder to the elbow point, and just take note of shoulder to the elbow point, and then on that line you take the around the elbow. Around the elbow is 9, which is divided by 2, 4.5, and then around the wrist is 8.5, which is 4 1/4. I hope it is clear. Then you can connect with a long ruler from here to here, from here to here. If you have a hip curve, you can use your hip curve ruler, because the human hand is not just straight. But I don't have a hip curve, so I'm going to make use of this. So make sure you blend this part out, okay, to make sure that there are no sharp edge. Just blend it out to be one continuous line. So okay, one continuous line. So the next thing to do is just to add the allowance. A sleeve does not need too much allowance. If you are going to be turning the sleeve with a lining, you need ½ inch for that, and then you also need ease allowance or sewing allowance. So let's just say 1.5. You can use 1 inch or 1.5. I'll just use 1.5. And then we connect. Make sure that there is a continuation. So for recap's sake, to know how much to put on fold around the armhole measurements that you took, you divide it by 2. We had 13. We divided by 2, you got 6.5, and then add like 2 inches extra for allowance. Then on that point 6.5 mark, we drew a straight line from this corner to this place, after which we placed our tape, and then we got the midpoint of that. Then when we are done with that, we also got the midpoint of this place. So invariably we share this line into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, and then from this quarter part we go up out by 1 inch. That is where the curve is going to pass. It's going to come through this midpoint and end at this other part. On this other on the 3/4 line, we came down by ½ inch. So we use our curve ruler to get this part, and then we turn the curve ruler to get this down part. So this is the front armhole. Then for the back armhole, this midpoint, this place that we join here into, that we divided into 2, we came out by ½ inch. So we use the curve to get to that place, and then use a straight line to continue to this place. And then the bicep mark, you may not really need it because here is already correct. So the next point that you are going to need is the shoulder to the elbow point, and then shoulder to the wrist, which is the length of the sleeve. So you mark your shoulder to the elbow point. On that point, you impute your around the elbow measurement divided by 2. And then on the hem part or the sleeve part, you put your around the sleeve measurement divided by 2, and then we connect the lines from this armhole area down here. And before we did that, we just confirmed to make sure that the armhole length was correct, because the armhole length was 8.5. So you see that it was just perfect 8.5, and then we added our allowance. So I will not be cutting out this pattern, I'll just leave it like that. But if you are cutting, you just cut from here. You cut the back first. You cut from here like this. You cut, okay, then you open it. After cutting the back, you now open your pattern. You now open it and now reshape the front part of it. So we have come to the end of this video. We have made so far in my channel. We have made short sleeve pattern, we have made off shoulder pattern, and now we have made the long sleeve pattern. So if there's any sleeve pattern you want us to make, you can leave it down on the comment section below, and please let me know what you think about this video. I hope you find this video helpful. I look forward to seeing you again on another video. Bye.